The Fed's just raised interest rates again, November 3rd, and inflation continues to have an impact on consumer budgets. So how is all of that impacting the housing market in Thurston, Mason, Lewis, and Grays Harbor counties? Before we go there, let's take a look at some headlines to get a sense of the overall housing market in the country, and then we can compare that to how we are being affected locally. So the first article, existing home sales dropped for the 8th straight month. And so we can see here from the National Association of Realtors reporting, and we see like over the past year, the sales were over 6 million, and now we're down to less than 5 million. So that's quite a drop. But the key message in all of this is, even though that we're seeing drops in sales and prices, the median sales prices for 2022 are still greater than they were in 2021. So we're just seeing a lower increase in prices in 2022. Now, again, by the National Association of Realtors, we have pending home sales down 10.2%. And pending is more of a leading indicator. So what it's telling us is that we can expect to see even lower home sales that we saw here in the next report, because it'll take about 30 days for these homes to actually sell. And so we'll expect this trend to continue with the pending sales. Now, Realtor.com is expecting prices to fall by a lot, and so we have to kind of decide, what is a lot, and does that mean that homes are going to drop lower than what sellers actually paid for the house? And that's not expected to be the case. This home sales listings plunged 20% in September, most on record aside from the pandemic start. And so this had a good summary here. Both buyers and sellers retreated in September as surging mortgage rates made moving more expensive. Home prices rose 8%. So again, here's what we're saying. The prices dropping, sales dropping, but prices are still up, just not as much as we were experiencing previously, which, was in the 15, 20, 25%, some cases, when we were doing, when we were in the bidding wars. And then down here, a record 22% of homes for sale had a price drop. And so this is kind of really what we're looking at. We've definitely moved away from multiple bids, bidding the price of homes up, and now we're seeing price drops. Scary times, builders are slashing home prices, and so the new construction is dropping very quickly, and we'll see that in some of the local data that's coming up. 1 in 5 home sellers is now dropping their asking price. And this is another item that we'll see here real soon as we get into the local data. And this I thought was interesting. The top markets at risk for home price decline, and 3 of them were in Washington. Number 2, Bremerton. Number 3, Bellingham. Number 5, Tacoma. Now, it looks kind of scary because you might think this is a expected drop in the price, but this is just the probability that there will be a decline. So there, it's over 50% expectation that the prices will drop, but there's no indication how much they'll drop, just that they're at high risk of some price reduction. Okay, so all right, with that, let's look at some local data. So first thing is the median prices. And so we're finally starting to see some drops in the median price of homes. And this isn't a cyclical thing, as we can see over the past few years, they've been consistently going up. And now finally, we're starting to see some reduction. And so for Thurston County, the peak of 525,000 median price was $499 for October. And so quite a drop in the price, median price of homes in Thurston County. And you can see that the other counties are kind of starting to apparently trend down, except we got this little uptick in Lewis County. So we'll kind of have to continue to watch Lewis. All right, so now new listings. We see, if we look at the year-over-year data, pretty significant drops in the new listings. And although we're, some of this is seasonal trend, so what we see here is a more gradual decrease in the listings here as the seasonal factor, but much sharper for 2022. So we'll be curious to see if that continues and we start dropping much below where we did in 2021. And then, of course, the other three counties are also experiencing some reduction in listing. So now we see that the number of homes for sale is up. And so how does that happen if we have fewer homes coming to market? Well, it's because they're staying on the market longer. And so we see quite an increase in the availability of homes, and we haven't seen that since back in 2019 before the pandemic. So it's quite an increase there. And so that'll be also represented on this days on market graph here, where we see significant increases in the days on market. So Thurston 21, whereas before it was down around 4 to 5 days. Sellers were expecting to sell, within the first week, all the time. Now, once it's on market for over a week, they're starting to panic and start reducing the price of their house. So, and then the months of supply, Thurston is still down, is still favorable to sellers at 1.6 months. We consider to be 3 to 4 or 5 months supply more of a balanced market. And so we see that Lewis and Grays Harbor are more kind of balanced between buyers and sellers. Mason is getting there, but Thurston still favors the sellers at this point. So another indicator I like to look at is the sales price versus the original sales price. And we see that these are all negative now, whereas they used to be positive. And what this indicates is that the homes that came to market trying to still squeeze out the higher prices as the home prices were rising, didn't quite make it as when the market changed. And so now they've had to drop their prices in order to sell because they still wanted to sell, but they just weren't able to get the price that they wanted. So it doesn't mean that they're selling for less than what they paid for. Again, it just means that they didn't get as much as they had hoped for, but they're still getting much more than what they paid due to the significant increases over the past 2 to 3 years of home value. Okay, so that gives you a pretty good indication of where we're at with the market. It seems to be moving into the buyer's favor, but the problem is still the interest rates are so high that the prices have not come down to make the homes affordable enough for a lot of the buyers. A lot of them have been squeezed out of the market. But I do want to give a little bit of hope to the buyers. because is this a good time to purchase a home with the prices falling? There's less competition in the market right now for buyers, and then also interest rates historically are still not that high. And if you do purchase now and the prices do go down in the future, which they're not expected to, within the next year or so, you can always refinance later. But they could go up. And so then you're still getting a home at, what are the lower interest rates during the next few years. Sellers are willing to negotiate now. Things like the price, as you saw, the home prices are going down. Contingencies, if you have a house to sell, they may even accept the sale contingency on the home that you're trying to sell. And then also now closing costs are back on the table. Home price increases are slowing. So even if you did purchase now, the prices are not expected to decline because there's still a lot of demand for homes and the inventory is still tight. Real estate is historically a good hedge against inflation, and so as inflation continues to persist, your home value is expected to go up. You'll get a stable mortgage payment versus the current rent changes. Rents could go down, but they have been going up, and it's just that unknown year to year. That can be problematic for you. There are many ways to purchase a home, and in the current market, sellers are going to be more willing to consider different options. There is down payment assistance programs available to help you, or you may be able to get money that you don't have to pay back or pay back later when you sell your house. There are lease to own options, and possibly seller financing if you're having trouble getting financing through the traditional methods. May be able to talk to the seller about carrying the contract for a while. If you have stable employment and the interest rates haven't priced you out of the market, then we should talk and see what we can do to get you in a great home. Okay, so thanks for listening to this session of the market update for Thurston, Mason, Lewis, and Grace Harbor County, and we'll see you in the next update.